9. And then it has another number. It has numbers which are also represented from A to F. So it starts from 0 and it ends at F. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and A, B, C, D, E, F. So basically, a hexadecimal number will be a mixture of numbers. Hexadecimal numbers are usually a mixture of numeric values and alphabets. So in HTML5 or in CSS3, we usually had to use hexadecimals that were 6 characters long. You see, there are usually 3 characters long in here, but previously we had to use something that was 6 characters long. So you don't need to worry about that. That's just for the information sake of providing information, maybe. Yeah. So let me use this 66F in my CSS style. Let's get back to our editor and let's use 66F. It doesn't matter whether it's the alphabets or the letters inside this hexadecimal number system are used as lowercase alphabets. You can even use uppercase ones, or if you choose to use lowercase, you can do that. There's no harm. So you might have noticed something, that they haven't used a pound sign. But if you want to include that on your style sheet, you must include the color code preceded by a pound sign. If you don't do that, you see it shows an error. So if you click onto, if you just hover over this, it's telling you that there is an unknown dimension. Color is an unknown dimension because your browser won't be able to read that unless you provide this pound symbol. When you do that, and if you hover over it, it correctly determines that it has got a color. So I guess it's the wrong color. I mean, it's usually not using that. Let's just test it out on our browser. Let's save this. Okay, and let's head back to our browser. Let's refresh this. So this is, I think there's a mistake with their color codes. Okay, you can even use something like this one. If you move along, you can choose colors from here. If you want to use a green, then in here you are looking at a color code that has 6 characters. So usually the hexadecimal color system will have the 6 characters. So let's copy this and apply it on our style sheet. We wanted something with green. So let's save this part. We didn't want something with blue. So let's refresh this. So now we have a green color, and if we hover over this on our Firebug, we see that it's also showing us a green color for this content. Now, because we applied two classes individually, it's also, the browser is also rendering out on our browser. We can independently refer to this same same content or same paragraph element using both of these classes. So it's not a matter of you might find multiple classes applied to a single element in many projects. If you just search over to many well-known websites, you'll see that they have provided multiple and independent classes that are used to style a single element. Now there is a third way to apply styling to any element that you create on your web page. So the third way is to use an ID attribute. So the ID attribute obviously will need to have the ID attribute name followed by the equal sign, and you need to provide a value for this. Now the value for the ID attribute will always have to be a single one. Unlike the class, classes can have as many as you want. You can provide as many values as you want, but for the ID part, you need to provide only a single one. So suppose if we want to provide a ID value of second para, okay, second para, let's reference this here. Second para, and we want to reference the anchor tags, and we want to apply some styling, or suppose we want to apply maybe we want to remove the underlines. So let's use the text decoration property, and let's put the value to none. Let's save this part, and let me check this out on my browser, and it works perfectly all right. So if you open up this body part, and if you open up this second, second paragraph tag, then when you hover over this, let's hover over this. Okay, if you hover over any of this, like this one, okay, I don't want that. Fine. Now, if you choose the other one, like in here, you see I have referenced both of those anchor tags using the ID selector. So I have applied this ID selector for the second paragraph. So my intention was to remove the underlines from the anchor tags that the browser provides as a default behavior. If you remove this part, you see, if you look closely, then you will find that there are underlines underneath the links. But because I wanted to remove those underlines, I applied a property called text decoration, and I have set the value to none, which means that it will tell the browser that you must remove the underlines from the links. So if I enable this, you'll see that the underlines are being removed from both of the anchor tags. And this has been achieved by using this operator. So we'll be discussing about how to access the nested child elements or the descendant elements using from our document tree. So it's important to validate our CSS. It's also important to validate our HTML. So you will have to do that using two different web services. So let's talk about the CSS one first.